sell the team.
Anything I should sell the team? You want to not come to any more games?
Why?
Yeah, that's rude.
It's your opinion.
No, it's not an opinion. And you know what? Enjoy watching them on TV.
Him, Black. Bring him, yeah, him, hold him for Kevin. Hold him for Kevin. Hold him for Kevin.
The New York Knicks, everybody.
Is there any way to make this season better? We're about to have the worst record in franchise history. James Dolan, everybody.
So at work, we have a dry erase board, and we have Knicks days without embarrassment. I think we're going to come in tomorrow to a reset clock.
Yes. For those that don't know, Knicks lost yesterday. They lost to Sacramento because they lose every day. and James Dolan was leaving the building. It looked like the stadium had been the area at least they were in was kind of cleared out at this point. So a fan says to James Dolan, "Sell the team," and James Dolan says, thinks in his head, "There are two ways I can approach this. I can just keep walking, and no one hears about this again, or I can make a total ass of myself, and I'll be all over the paper and look like a total jackass. Let's go, jackass."
Shocking, right?
Shocking. Do you think by the way, is it clear yet whether that guy fan was actually banned for
No, but they did say hold him to take his picture, so I'm guessing that they went through with it.
Yeah, I mean that's probably I kind of wish the fan had replied like enjoy watching the games on TV. He was like, how is the team going to get better?
Right.
He should have just gone for it, basically.
Well, that's what I saw some people saying on Twitter. Like, if you're going to get banned for life, go out with a bang.
Go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
You know what? Really, the Brooklyn Nets should do right now is offer this guy season tickets.
Oh,
they should just embarrass the shit out of it.
Start a campaign. Everybody who gets banned by Dolan personally gets season tickets for us.
That would be amazing. Wouldn't that be goddamn amazing? Then they would be like, wait a second, this is the whole stadium's filled now with people that are banned by James Dolan.
I mean, nobody's going to Nets games. You could probably give away 5,000 seats and still not feel an impact.
It'd be great now if James Dolan goes on like radio shows being like, that fan who I've never met before is an alcoholic.
And my 3 albums do exist.
Yes. You know why James Dolan is on edge? Because he knows that you're on the goddamn conspiracy.
So we need to go to a game before the season's over. Let's try and get one nearer that hallway so that I can yell at him, asking him where that album is. I'll do it.
That would be amazing for the show in so many ways.
Let's try and plan that before the season's over.
Jay from New York Knicks podcast got banned. By the way, that'd probably be the end of our podcast. Sorry, that'd be the beginning of our name change for our podcast.
Yeah.
By the way, we are recording this show. It is Sunday night. The Knicks are currently losing to the Minnesota Timberwolves by about 13 points. And the Knicks are losing because they're playing, and that's what happens.
They're playing a Minnesota team without Karl Anthony Towns. And I think they're missing Rose. No, Rose is playing. Towns is out, and Wiggins is out.
Yeah, well, they've got some guy named Bates Diop starting, so can't stop that.
So I guess the Timberwolves need to be missing at least 3 starters for the Knicks to have a chance.
Listen, we'll win the games if their starting 5 would just like not make the game. Okay, if they're gonna have one of their starting 5, we just can't do this. By the way, Tankathon. I just want to I want to start every episode now with let's do the simulation. Right now, the Knicks are in. They lost to Phoenix this week in quite a tank championship. We have 13 wins, so we're up by two wins on Phoenix. So we're kind of solidified a number 1 seed right now. Let's do this lottery simulation on Tankathon, and we are 5th. We're back to 1. Okay, we're getting Zion. We are back to 5th. We're getting screwed. We are back to 3rd, and the Lakers are we're back to 5th. The Lakers are picking before us. Let's just burn the NBA to the ground.
So we had 5th 3 times, a 1st and a 3rd?
Yeah, we had the 5th 3 times, the 1st and the 3rd, and the Lakers picked. The last one had the Lakers picking before us because that's what the NBA would do.
Yeah. So since last episode, the Knicks lost to the Kings twice, Phoenix, and they're about to lose to Minnesota. So the scare where they won 3 out of 4 is over. The Knicks are now 40 games below 500, soon to be 41 below. They might end up with a franchise low for wins ever.
They might.
17 is the low. They have 13.
They have 16 games to go. Do you believe they can get 4 wins the rest of the way? I don't. Do you?
And they would need 5 to break the worst season ever.
They'd have to go 5-11 the rest of the way. 4-12, which sounds doable unless you watch the Knicks.
Yeah.
Do we have 5? Well, do we have 4 games scheduled against the Washington Generals?
It's a hard schedule at the end of it.
Yeah, it actually is. Actually, we have to have the. I don't want to go through it. It's just the Knicks have a lot of tough games to go, and assuming those teams aren't trying to tank as well, even if they're trying to tank as well, we're pretty much screwed.
Yeah.
But or screwed, not screwed. Actually, we want to have the worst record because you can only fall as far as 5. We want Zion. Next week, I believe, is the start of next week. Next Sunday is Selection Sunday, so the March Madness is going to start, and we're going to have to start following. Jay, we have to scout March Madness. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Because the season, this is worthless to watch. The only thing that's worth watching right now is March Madness.
So I just looked real quick, and 10 of the Knicks' final games are against playoff teams, and they have another one against Orlando, who's really trying to make the playoffs. So,
well, I have a question. How many games are against NBA teams? So that will be do we have any WNBA games?
So that means they would have to win almost every single game against non-playoff teams.
Oh, okay. Well, that's totally doable. So, what we want to do with a couple things this episode, we want to go back and kind of talk about what we thought about the players and the situation before the season, and what we think now, and talk about some other stuff. I also wanted to start the episode off with our new segment, Welcome to Tanking, LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, at least we can be happy that LeBron is finally not going to be in the playoffs.
The Knicks and LeBron James will play the same amount of playoff games this year.
I'll call that a win.
I call that a win. The Knicks and LeBron will both be waiting to see how the ping pong balls work out.
I can't believe the Lakers are 7 games out of the playoffs.
They're done. They also, I think they called Ball and Ingram out for the season. Or shut down for the season. So, sorry.
Fantasy team update. Brandon Ingram's out for the season.
You're worse than the Lakers?
Well, Brandon Ingram's out for the season. He's on my team.
Okay. Where are you? Is this the last week? Is this the last day?
Yes.
For fantasy, where are you?
So last week I was in 11th. The top 8 make the playoffs. This week I jumped up to 8th.
Ooh.
And I'm going to win 7-2, which will put me in 6th. So you owe me a burger.
Oh, I owe you a burger.
I moved up.
I owe you a burger for that one. I probably owe you a burger for Denver. Do I owe you a burger restaurant at this point?
Pretty much. So the other bet was that the Nuggets will have a better record than the Jazz, and that looks like it's going to happen. And the third bet was the Nuggets will finish in the top 4. So I think I get 3 burgers.
I owe you 3 burgers. That's going to be a lot of burgers.
This will be good.
We will set that up soon. So what do you think LeBron is he losing his mind? How do you think this is affecting him?
I think he's probably pretty concerned. Not so much for this season. I mean, he's probably upset about this season, but
he's probably upset about this season.
Yes,
he is. He is also now the all-time leading. Sorry, he's past Michael Jordan in the all-time list of leading scorers.
Right, but on a lot of people's lists, he has not passed Jordan as the greatest player. We all know that's his goal, and if the Lakers don't get Davis in the offseason, I see no road for the Lakers to be competitive anytime soon. He's locked in for the next 3 years. His career could.
And he has an opt out after.
When he's 37, his career could just fizzle out on non-playoff teams.
Which would be kind of amazing that he keeps jumping around and that he screwed up with his last spot.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. So I was looking for reference when Jordan was. Well, we all know when Jordan was 30, same age as LeBron, he was winning his 6th championship. But when in Jordan's last season, he was on that 37-win Wizards team. He played all 82 games, and he played 37 minutes a game on a team that wasn't going to make the playoffs. So I'm just saying,
Well,
packing it in early, packing it in like 20 games early, because you're not going to make the playoffs at 34.
hey, maybe he'll make it at 35 or 30. I mean, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. You know what really is? Basically, I am going to enjoy the offseason because it's going to be like insane LeBron. Like LeBron's going to like be tortured by the news media and what's going on.
Yeah.
There'll be
Let's
so
get
many
back to
LeBron stories that I will enjoy the LeBron stories.
Let's get back to the Knicks.
Let's get back to the Knicks. Oh, by the way, just so I heard LeBron passed Jordan for the scoring leader.
Glad we got back to the Knicks.
Sorry, 1 second. I knew Kareem was number 1.
Yeah.
But like I just forgot who was where in the list.
Carmelo.
So I assume when LeBron passed Jordan, I was like, oh, I guess he's second. I completely goddamn forgot Malone was second.
Yeah, take a look at Carmelo's stats. They're insane.
I can't believe Karl Malone like is second at all time. I mean, Kobe's ahead of LeBron also, but you can remember that Karl Malone was like this like insanely consistent player for so many years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. I don't think he had a season under 20 until maybe his very, very last season when he was injured.
Who would you rather have of all time? Well, who would you rather
his
have?
last season with the Lakers when he was 40, he averaged 13, but when he was 39, he was still averaging over 20.
If you could have like the peak of their career, would you rather have Karl Malone or Charles Barkley?
Ooh, that's really tough.
Yeah.
So Karl Malone, 26 years old, 31, 11, and 3 on 56% shooting.
I mean, he was a dominant player. It helped that he had one of the greatest point guards his whole career, pretty much.
Yeah. Charles Barkley, 24 years old, 28, 12, and 3.
They were both MVPs at some point, right?
On 59% shooting.
And they both, if not for Michael Jordan, probably would have won a title.
Yes.
I think best Barkley is better than the best Malone, but not by much.
Barkley's third season, he averaged 14.6 rebounds.
I think Barkley would get you further. He's more of a beast, basically. They're both such good players, but I think Barkley would have got you farther. You taking Malone or Barkley, and then we'll go back to the Knicks.
I think I'd go Barkley, but it's like splitting hairs.
Yeah.
Okay,
so go to the
Barkley
let's go
could spread out a little, spread the floor like a tiny bit more.
Okay, so going to the beginning of the season, preseason. Right now, the Knicks are on pace for 15 wins, worst season in Knicks history. The roster looks a lot different than it looked at the beginning of the season. We had some thoughts coming into the season.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the roster, looked at the preseason, looked at everything going on, and I always go into every season thinking with like high hopes, the expectations that like things will work out better than some reason I talk myself into this team every year. And so I talked myself into thinking like this team could win like 33, 34 wins. Do you remember what you thought?
Yeah, when we did our preseason rankings, you had them in 8th. And
well, in fairness, I just put them in the playoffs no matter what. Because I'm not going to do a preseason rankings for this show and not make them either 8th seed or win the title. Because why not?
Right.
But I did think they would be like a 32, 33 win.
Yeah, I thought low 30s was realistic.
I never thought they'd be this bad. No matter how, when people said they were going to be 23 wins, 24 wins, I was like, well, you haven't really watched Kevin Knox.
Right.
Yeah.
You know who has watched Kevin Knox?
Who has watched Kevin Knox?
Bleacher Report. Did you
see?
What
did they say about the worst defender in the NBA?
They said, well, they didn't say worst defender. They said worst defender at the small forward position in the entire NBA is Kevin Knox.
I know what you're talking about, and they also claim that he's putting up historically bad numbers for a rookie.
Yes.
So as long as you have a historic player, it's all good. Kevin Knox would be a lot more. First of all, I don't know how Kevin Knox will turn out. He went from being NBA Rookie of the Month in December to being, I mean, the part of it you think he's kind of a wall? He's played a lot of minutes.
Yeah, I feel like the wall was right in front of him, and he hit it almost immediately.
He looked better at some point during the year. But you know what? So Mitchell Robinson makes us feel a lot better. Because if Mitchell Robinson was our number 9 pick in the draft, I'd be excited.
Yeah. It is still weird that he can't seem to break 22 minutes a game. But
I think they probably, to some extent, they're limiting his minutes.
That's fine.
Which is fine. You don't need to, I think he also, to a certain extent, appears, I don't think he has the wind, basically. Like, he doesn't have necessarily the endurance to play 40 minutes or 35 minutes. Like, there are some games where, I remember one game where basically I felt like he checked himself out because he was just he'd been in the game for a long stretch and he was just done.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, he's what, top 10 in the NBA in blocks, and he's playing 20 minutes a game.
He's top 5 in the NBA in blocks, I believe.
Yeah, and playing 20 minutes a game. It's insane.
No, he is a change the game defender. Also, if we talk, I like Ntilikina. His defense has not been as good this year as it was last year, and obviously Ntilikina hasn't played in a while. But even Ntilikina at his best defense, it's not the same thing as Mitchell Robinson's defense. Mitchell Robinson's defense changes the floor option. Like, the other team has to change their offense around him. Ntilikina, basically, he played good defense, but it's not like Mitchell Robinson's defense.
Right.
Like, a center that can block shots and really make guys change their shot really makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
That said, they don't win games with him anyway. So, but who knows? Not that it's changing that much, I guess. So we both thought they would be a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Knox expectations. What were our expectations of Kevin Knox? What do you remember your expectations were? You don't have to give me the points or anything, but what do you think going into the year versus how it's been? We
thought he was going to be top 5 rookie.
Yeah, well, we kind of got really high off that summer league, huh?
Yeah, we did.
We were smoking some summer league crack, huh? We thought shooting percentage would be kind of low. Like, he would not have a high shooting percentage, which is true.
Yeah.
He has 30s. I mean, the knock on him was college. He kind of disappeared at times, and he definitely pulls that. I thought he'd be a pretty solid rookie, though. I thought he'd have a pretty good year. He's averaging 12 points a game, which sounds okay. His shooting percentage, he's shooting 33% from the 3-point line, which is okay. He's pretty inefficient. He's just a terrible defender, which is a huge issue.
Really bad.
And for his high usage, because he plays a lot of minutes, he doesn't really look that great out there. There was a knock on him. Maybe you told me or somewhere that they think he's just a step slow on everything.
Yeah, and you can't. It's not even that he's shooting 33% from 3. He's only shooting 36% from the field. Yeah,
I mean, they also knock on his assist rate. He's getting 1 assist a game. He's not looking for the open man. He's not necessarily helping our offense. He's helping our tank, not necessarily our offense.
Yeah,
but he's 19, Jay. And what does that mean to you?
Remember when we said he was only 19?
Well, now Frank's only 20. At some point, Frank will only be 30. At some point, we'll have to give up on him. But I don't know. So Frank made no steps this year. No. Next year, I feel it will be a pivotal year for Knox. Will he really take a step forward? Because I think at some point you don't have to do it right away. Some guys are a little bit late developers, but you want to see something. Hopefully, we'll see more from Knox next year. I still think he could be a good player. I don't know if he's an NBA starter yet.
At that age, you want to see them get better each year, yes. So the fact that Frank didn't is very disturbing. If Knox looks the same next year, it's going to be problems.
I heard on an interview with, what's his name? The old, not Newsday. Who's the old reporter? Frank.
Isola?
Oh, Settle, yeah. And he was saying how, he's Doncic's 19. Doncic looks like a real NBA player. Knox does not look like a real NBA player yet. He's not why do we give such an excuse just because you're young? You should look better, basically. Even if you look more like you have he was just saying I don't really see a lot of potential here.
Yeah,
which was a hard knock on him, and Doncic obviously looks like a real impact player.
Yeah, but Doncic played professional basketball when he was 16. Doncic's not a good example. But if you want to say Trae Young looks better, fine. I think that's a better comparison.
Yeah, I'm holding out hope Knox will get better, and he'll end up being a good player. it's also, I feel like the first year is a tough year to like. It's you cannot judge a player off their first year in the league,
Right.
especially it probably. Do you think it hurts him or helps him how many minutes that like he's been getting?
Helps. The more minutes, the better, I think.
I don't know. Do you think at some point like he almost needs to have like be held more accountable, like be managed in a different way? Like I know we always say like the guy needs to play, but in some ways you play them and they're overmatched. Does that really help?
I think it depends on the player, really. Some players really respond to that and learn by it. Other players need to watch tape and learn that way.
Okay, so another hot take I made beginning of the season, and I was only half joking when I said this. I mean, I might have been half serious when I said this. Was that I thought Timmy Hardaway had a shot at being an NBA All-Star this season, or at least a borderline All-Star.
Yeah, I called.
Jay, was I correct?
I called you out on that one immediately.
Was I correct? Is Timmy Hardaway an All-Star, Jay?
Not even close.
Not even close, huh? Is he on the Knicks anymore?
No, he's not. And I don't know if I missed him at all. At all.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks have been bad with him. They were bad without him. Like, his defense kind of was lame. He would go through. The thing is, he started the year off kind of proving me right. He had a nice run. He was shooting well. But he gets cold for way, way too long.
Yeah, I mean, that's been what he was his whole career.
But Jay, he's only 26. He has time, Jay.
Yeah.
I am very happy to not have Timmy Hardaway in it. It just very happy not have him, but I am surprised how wrong. Maybe this is just be us explaining how we are wrong about everything right now. Hardaway, I was completely wrong about. I am sorry. I apologize to the Knicks fans. I thought he would be not necessarily worth his contract, but not far off. I thought he'd be a decent. I am just happy he's on the Knicks.
Well,
who do you want to apologize for? Let's take turns apologizing.
Let's see. Well, it's not Hardaway. It's not Thomas.
I got one for you before you want to. I have to apologize. I thought the Knicks should basically just cut in the preseason Emmanuel Mudiay. And was I right?
Yeah. He had like a good month, but now he's back to being terrible.
He had a good run where you made me think, oh, I was completely wrong. He's not that bad. And now I'm back to being like, I kind of feel like he should not be. Well, it helps that we have Dennis Smith. Not that Dennis Smith is amazing, but Dennis Smith at least looks like a real point guard. It makes me think Emmanuel Mudiay we should not bring back.
I know we shouldn't bring him back.
You know what the thing is?
He's only 23, right?
22.
Yeah, see, he's only 22.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I also want to see. I'd rather just see Kadeem Allen getting his minutes right now. Not that Kadeem Allen's anything special either. And he's actually old. Kadeem Allen's 26, but it looked like he played some defense out there.
Mark, he's only 26.
He's only 26.
He's got room to grow.
You know, Michael Jordan, the Knicks should sign him. He's only 56. He'll get better. So I guess we weren't that far off on Mudiay.
No.
But he was better than we expected, but not necessarily worth.
He was better than we expected until he was exactly as we expected.
You know what really is? It's not that he's been better than expected. It's that our what the Knicks have had for a point guard this season has been so bad that Mudiay's looked kind of decent.
Or you can say what we've had for point guards is so bad that Kadeem Allen looks decent.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, Dennis Smith hasn't been that amazing since the Knicks have had him, but he looks like a real NBA point guard, which like an actual real NBA point guard, which makes me Dennis Smith's the one we've also been wrong about.
Except for tonight.
How do you do tonight? I'm not sure. What's he doing tonight?
It's 11 minutes left in the fourth. He's 1 for 7. He's got a plus minus of minus 17. He's got 2 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists.
But you know what, Jay?
And 3 turnovers.
You know what, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell Robinson has 4 blocks.
He does.
And he has a steal.
In 21
I find basically, like, I forgot the game was even on. Honestly, it's been hard to watch the games lately, and this week was a particularly tough week to watch.
Yeah.
And they were playing late games and all that, but I forgot the Knicks were going to lose. Were scheduled to lose Sacramento yesterday. And the first thing when I checked the box score, I was going to watch the game, and I just checked the box score, so they lost. And I'm like, let me just see how many blocks Mitchell Robinson had. That's all I really care about these days, is how many blocks Robinson gets.
Do the Knicks just draw straws, and the shortest straw is the only player on the entire roster that has a good game?
No, Dotson's having a good game tonight, huh?
Yeah, but he was
Yeah.
horrible for like the last week.
Yeah. So other players, Jay, Frank Ntilikina. Do we have to apologize? What do you think of Frank Ntilikina going into the season?
Yeah, I have to apologize to our listeners. We said he might not be that bad, and he was way worse. So sorry for getting your expectations up.
Ntilikina will not only not take a step forward, he will also be injured a lot.
We might have to apologize for most of these guys just for talking them up a little too much.
Yeah, that's really. Enes Kanter. I didn't talk him up in the preseason, but I remember after watching that first game against the Hawks, and I was like, oh, I kind of miss Kanter. He looked pretty good out there. Whatever, I can live with some Enes Kanter, which was like the worst. Which I obviously could not live with any Enes Kanter.
No, you wanted him out from like game 5 on.
Yeah, and I was correct about that. I don't think I have to apologize. Kanter's obviously someone. His defense was just terrible.
Yeah.
Most of the guys in the Knicks, their defense is terrible.
This is true.
So would you have expected if I said to you, like, if I could tell you what the future was going to hold in the preseason, I was like, Jay, our starting center will be DeAndre Jordan by the end of the season.
Oh, I guess we're making that playoff push.
It would have been. You would have been like, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to? So KD. So, Porzingis, our preseason thing. Maybe he'll be back like February, March. They'll play him a couple games, and maybe in March, and he'll be ready for next season. I think we were high on the KP thing. Did that work out?
Maybe. I mean, the fact that he's not playing at all this season might be an omen. You wouldn't be any concerned at all the fact that he missed like a year and a half while Cousins like had a really bad injury and he's been back for like months already.
I don't know. I feel like injuries can be different from player to player. I don't want to rush anyone back. I would say I would have been concerned giving like $150 million contract to a guy that hadn't played in a year and a half.
Yeah.
That part would have concerned me. And a guy who could not stay healthy other seasons. I feel like for the Knicks, they were probably, if they kept him, they were probably better off with him signing the qualifying offer.
Yeah.
Do you think he would have turned down, if the Knicks had made a $150 million offer, do you think he would have turned that down?
I don't know.
Because I feel like you would have had to be a goddamn madman to like how you haven't played basketball in a year and a half. No matter how much you think you're going to come back and like be great, like you're going to give $150 million on the hope that you're really good when you come back.
Right.
Remember who's that guy on Philly that turned down $80 million and got completely screwed? The center.
Oh, it was.
That's great. We can't remember his name. That was a good career move on him. He should murder that agent.
Is it Nerlens Noel?
Nerlens Noel. He's got like an offer for $80 million, turned it down, and played like, and not that I think he probably his next contract was like close to league. Like maybe he got like a couple million, which is obviously more than both JJ and I will make in our lifetimes. But it's still I just murdered that agent.
Yeah.
I told you to turn that down. You know who? Let's see. Who else have we got? We were really wrong about. Who else you got, Jay?
Maybe Vonleh. We thought he was going to get bought out in the beginning of the season. He turned into like a mediocre player.
Yeah, I mean he's like if the Knicks don't sign anyone, then bring Vonleh back for a year.
All right,
I don't see Vonleh getting a lot of interest elsewhere.
No, definitely not.
He's a solid enough player. Is there anywhere else? Okay, this is going nowhere. You know what? Trier has surprised us. That's been the bright spots for the season are Mitchell Robinson, Trier to a lesser extent, and my favorite player in the Knicks right now, cap space.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, we're running low on time, so let me just do a quick couple of emails.
Yeah, and then do the Facebook questions, then we'll be done.
All right, so we're nyknickspodcast@gmail.com, nyknickspodcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. I think that's it. The NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com is our website. You could get the last few Knicks podcast shirts on there. And Nasir writes, aside from development, I believe that Fizdale is a bad hire. He seems like he can't get the guys to run simple basketball, even though the Knicks stink. The execution on the basketball court should be a little better. He had star problems in Memphis, and now KP is gone. I would have went somewhere like a Ty Lue or a Jerry Stackhouse. Another dark horse would have considered is Monty Williams if he wanted to be a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks are about to have their worst season in their history, so it's hard to be excited about Fizdale as their coach with this.
I don't think that the Porzingis wanting to leave is Fizdale's thing. I think it was that they didn't have a good roster. There was no good roster in sight. I don't think that's like I didn't like Fizdale.
Oh well, there were so many reasons I think Porzingis could have left. I think they kind of lost him with the whole Phil Jackson era, and he probably didn't see things getting better.
Yeah.
I also think the treatment of Noah and Cantor, which may or may not think it really mattered, I think that probably mattered to him because I think he saw it as like this franchise is not getting any better. They're still the same like dysfunctional organization.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think it's as much Fizdale as just everything they do.
Yeah, I think it's everything they do. I don't know about Fizdale. I would not get rid of him. I'd give him another season and see how things go. His ability to call plays is not. We were kind of high on Fizdale at the end of the season. Where are you now on him?
I'm not that down on him just because it's basically a D-League roster.
Yeah. I don't know if any of the coaches they mentioned, whether it be like Jerry Stackhouse, Monty Williams, any of those coaches would do a lot more with this roster.
Exactly. All right, we have one more email.
Oh, wait, Jay, do you want to plug your Jay Loves Music podcast? Website?
Sure. jlovesmusic.wordpress.com, album review website.
Yeah, so on the site is just pictures of Jay. He's basically holding his favorite albums. He's basically naked except for the album, which covers his private parts. And it's just lots of pictures of Jay with albums covering his privates. Is that the website?
So you've clearly never been to the website. So we got an email, long-time listener, first-time messenger. Thank you. You didn't write your name, but thank you for writing to us. He has a 3-part question. One.
Doesn't he have an email address? Wouldn't the name be in the email, maybe?
No.
Okay, fine.
What do you guys...
It's unknown emailer at Gmail?
I'm not going to read his email out loud. What do you guys think is some of the worst basketball movies ever made? Because for me personally, I think it's got to be that Kevin Durant movie nobody talks about, Thunderstruck. Now, I haven't seen that, and I forgot that even existed. It's got to be bad.
It's got to be really, really bad. No one ever talks about that one. I would assume. What's the worst basketball movie you've seen? And does it rhyme with bear, bud?
See, that's the thing. I skipped the movie with the dog playing basketball. I skipped the movie with the little kid playing basketball, and I skipped the movie with Whoopi Goldberg as head coach.
That's what I was going to point to. The Whoopi Goldberg.
I'm guessing that's all those three and Thunderstruck is the Mount Rushmore of bad basketball movies. I just decided not to waste my time on those.
I don't know. I think those would be the ones. Basically, I'm not sure. It's much easier to list the best ones.
Yeah, because all the basketball movies I have seen have been decent.
If you had to put you don't have to put them in order, but like top 3, who would you put up there?
I would put White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one.
Are you going to count Teen Wolf as a basketball movie?
No, it's a movie about wolves.
Okay.
It's not. That's not. You can't really count that as a basketball movie. I know there's a lot of basketball played, but come on.
Basketball Diaries, Hoop Dreams, Space Jam.
Did you ever see Glory Road?
No.
Okay, that's really good. I'd put that there. Not Blue Chips, obviously.
No.
Space Jam. I guess I'd probably put which one? The Hoop Dreams is a documentary. Basketball Diaries is the one with DiCaprio, right?
Yes.
So I wouldn't put a documentary in there. So I'd put Basketball Diaries is really good.
Okay.
Okay.
And out of all the NBA players, who do you think would be the worst?
Oh, what's the one with Ray Allen and Denzel Washington? That's a really good one.
Right. I don't think I actually saw that one. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what is that movie? That's actually one of my favorites. That was He Got Game.
He got game.
That was a really good one. I mean, I really enjoyed that one. It's not an amazing movie, but I enjoyed that one. Okay. What's the rest of the question?
Out of all the NBA players, who do you think would be the worst movie actors?
The number one worst movie actor in my mind would be Enes Kanter.
I don't know. He's got personality.
I know, but he also has personality seems a little bit fake. I just feel like he'd be a bad actor. He'd have that dumb grin on his face.
I think Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi, in this scene in this movie, your wife's being brutally murdered in front of you. Yeah, I got no expression. Who else?
I don't know if I could top Kawhi.
Kawhi was pretty good. Who'd be the best? Who do you think would be actually a really good forget the NBA. Knicks. What player would you put in a movie as far as he feel like he'd be good in a movie?
I think there's not a lot of personalities on this team, huh?
Go back to the NBA.
DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, maybe Jordan. I don't know. You're right. This team doesn't really necessarily shine. Okay, so
It's
NBA
like they
players.
stink and they have bad personalities. This is great.
It's not a bad personality. It's just no one. The team is so young and just so there's not strong personalities really. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Not bad, just boring.
Yeah, but nothing exciting about no one excites us on our team. I guess Alonzo Trier is a guy I'd pick basically if I was going to put someone in a movie.
Yeah. So part 3, just next.
The NBA players though, who would you put in? Pick one NBA player you'd want to see in a movie.
I would like to see.
I'll give you one.
Giannis?
I want to see James Harden in a National Lampoon movie, National Lampoon NBA basketball movie, because I love when the slapstick humor of guys just randomly falling over. I didn't even touch him; he just fell over.
I mean, Giannis was kind of funny during the draft, the All-Star draft thing.
Okay, let's go on. What's the third part?
Extra random question: do you guys know what anime is?
Isn't that
Animation from usually Japan. Yes.
Yeah. So it's basically it's just regular animation, but it's a lot of Japanese people having sex in the cartoons.
So you're a big anime fan.
Isn't that what it is though?
No,
Isn't they all some kind of sexual fetish shit?
No.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
No, it's not really.
Really? Is it? So you're it's? Isn't it just scenes it's either filler between the weird sex fetish scenes and then it's it's tentacle porn, right?
So you've never seen Akira?
Is that tentacle porn?
You're the last person on earth not to have seen that movie.
I'm pretty sure I'm not the last person. That's
people who haven't even seen anime have seen that movie.
Is there a lot of tentacle porn?
No. Okay, move on.
Okay, Lewis writes. Oh, sorry. Bobby writes. Yo, with Dolan defecating all over fans and legends alike, might it be time for another fan strike? Cable TV is dying source of income. Why not hit him where his wallet really is? The team is a cash cow. Make his nepotism ass take notice.
I'd love to do that, but between the tourists and the businesses, I don't think it's easy to make that happen.
I mean, fans try. They sell the tickets for so much goddamn money. It's unbelievable how much people pay for this shit. The fans should just stop watching the games for the rest of the season. That would be he's right. Every Knicks fan, just do not watch a single Knicks game on MSG the rest of the season, and you're not going to miss anything because the team just sucks anyway. And that would probably hit him pretty hard.
Yeah.
Or in theory, maybe motivate him to finally sell the team.
Exactly.
If he starts worrying that we're going to lose money, maybe he'll be let me sell it while I can. Eric writes, if Dolan pulled the trigger on a Kyle Lowry trade all those years ago, would it have made a difference?
Might have made a little bit of a difference.
For those that don't remember,
I was going to say they wanted a couple first rounders, but that was Ntilikina and Knox, so who cares?
Well, it was the 2016 first round pick. That was the issue. That's Ntilikina, right?
Yeah.
and the Knicks were not going to move trade draft picks. The other thing about the trade was Kyle Lowry was going to be a free agent at the end of the season. So there's no telling whether he would have re-signed with the Knicks.
Correct.
But assuming he did, would it have made a difference? Yeah. Would this team still be pretty bad?
Yeah, they would have.
I don't know. I mean, we'd have one of the better point guards in the league. They probably would have made a lot of different moves also to reflect they have Lowry.
They would have been better. I don't know if they would have been good.
Well, you assume if they trade for Lowry, they don't just take apart the team. Like the way they just basically took apart the team basically right after that.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it would have worked out very well. I mean, really, best case scenario, Lowry comes here and the Knicks were like a 7th or 8th seed because they still would not have had another star. And in retrospect, maybe that trade would have been worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, it was risky at the time, but in retrospect, yeah.
I mean, in theory, the Knicks are probably better off going forward keeping their draft picks until like the team gets a lot better. Paul writes, "Am I crazy to prefer Zion to AD?"
No, I mean,
why? Anthony Davis is one of the better players in the league. Zion's yet to play in the league.
Davis misses a lot of games. He seems like kind of a head case.
Zion just like randomly like tears his sneaker in half and misses games.
Yeah, I mean that was a really fluky thing.
I mean, there's the chances of Zion being as good as AD are pretty slim. I know everyone's talking up Zion, and maybe he'll be really great, but like very few players come in the league. Very few drafts have guys as good as Anthony Davis.
Yeah, but you have Zion at a minimum salary versus Davis making $30 million.
Well, Anthony Davis comes here, and then you probably can get Kevin. There's a better chance of getting Kevin Durant, and then you're not as worried about getting like the minimum salary of Zion. I mean, there's a decent chance the Knicks like they get the number 1 pick and they use that to trade for KD.
Right. Well, with Zion,
you can get. Sorry.
But with Zion, you can get KD and another big free agent. So
well, yeah, ideally, like you get KD, another free agent, and Zion. That would look pretty good, also.
All right.
By the way, yeah, I understand where he's coming from, though. I don't think that's completely crazy. I have a question. So, are you not at all concerned about how bad LeBron's season has been in the Lakers that it would give KD second thoughts about making the move to the Knicks?
No. I think he thinks he can build a super team because he would have another person coming with him, whereas LeBron is trying to get the second person.
Yeah, LeBron probably thought Paul George was not going to resign in OKC, and then if he had Paul George when he came there, it would have been a different story.
Yep.
Luis writes, Kemba Walker and Kevin Durant or Tobias Harris and Kyrie, which duo would you sign?
Kevin and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, anything that's paired with Kevin Durant, I'm going to go with my number 1 choice here. Would you sign Durant signs elsewhere? Our option is Tobias Harris and Kyrie. I know you wouldn't do it because you wouldn't sign Kyrie. Right. I don't know I don't know if I do that. Tobias Harris and Kyrie. I don't know if that gets us far enough. I mean, maybe it's just worth like going with the 1-year deals or like continue the rebuild until we can get someone else bigger. I have no idea. I mean, because I picture us signing Kyrie and Tobias Harris to max deals basically and being like, man, what stars and draft pick of the trade to like clear these contracts?
Yeah.
Paul writes, when KD and Kyrie come, who will be the leader of this team? Dennis Smith or Lance Thomas?
You just ruined my week.
No, you know, like they'll all be like, yeah, the Knicks have managed to get all these all-stars, but Lance Thomas is still the team captain. Bobby writes, what is the logic behind Fizz claiming the Knox needs starting minutes, yet not starting Mitch?
I think you said it, conditioning.
Why? Well, I understand not starting Mitch, but why does Knox isn't that same? Like Knox probably can be better conditioned. Like why start Knox?
Maybe Knox is already conditioned better to handle those minutes.
I guess so. I think also Mitch
risk.
He had some kind of thing about how he felt Mitch would start games and get in a lot of foul troubles and would break the rhythm. And not that they have that much rhythm because they suck anyway. But then he started playing well off the bench, and I think he probably just wants to keep if it's working well, just keep it going with Mitch.
He's like, all right, I got one good bench player.
He's working out. Why mix things up? Knox, I don't know. I might move him to the bench at this point. But then again, who even replaces him? The team just sucks. Knox is very good at the tank, so there you go.
Yeah.
Bobby writes, Mr. Robinson is my favorite nickname for Mitch. What's yours, Jay?
I still like the Blackness Monster.
It's pretty good. Are we going to at any point just go with MB also? With the two initial faster name?
No, I hate that.
Rob writes, sorry, do you think would you want the Knicks to get, just that it's so totally separate, would you want the Knicks to get Miles Turner and play Miles Turner and Mitchell Robinson at the same time, and then no one goes near the paint again?
Ooh, that would be fun.
Wouldn't that be kind of good?
Yeah.
The other night I looked and Miles Turner had 7 blocks in one game. By the way, Turner leads the league in blocks. I mean, the two of them, it would be a ridiculous game. The basket would be just protected.
Yep.
Rob writes, saw a report that the Knicks are open to trading Ntilikina on draft night. What do they expect to get for him, and what do you guys expect to get for him if they traded him? So, first off, you think the Knicks should be open to trading Ntilikina on draft night?
Yeah.
What would you expect to get for him?
Nothing.
Well, what makes it worth it making the trade? If you're getting a second-round pick for Ntilikina, is it worth doing the trade?
No.
Or just...
They said entertaining. Yes, listen, and if you get a first, do it, but I don't think you can.
I think the Knicks will be more entertaining than anyone. The Knicks will entertain people more than anyone because they'll be like, give us a top 10 pick for Ntilikina. People will laugh and they'll go, that was entertaining, Knicks. Bye.
Yeah.
What level pick would it take to get you to trade Ntilikina?
Top 29.
So not the 30th pick.
No, that's where I draw the line.
I would try to say top 20. After that, maybe just try and roll with him for another season and see if he gets better.
Yeah.
Last question. Carlos writes, if we get KD and somehow we can't sign Kyrie or Kemba, would you guys trade for Mike Conley? In my opinion, if the Knicks want to compete for a championship with Durant, they need an elite point guard. Conley is very good and is very good in the same page of Durant from experience and age standpoint. What do you guys think? A big hug from Brazil.
Thank you.
And I would go with the theory that Conley would not be. You would not have to trade a lot for Conley because they'd want the dumb salary there.
True, I would just be very worried about taking on a 32-year-old Conley.
Well, at least his contract's pretty reasonable if you don't see all the zeros. What's he getting? $30 million a year?
Yeah. 32 next year and 34 the year after. So
let's just say the Grizzlies really they want a dump salary. I mean, they already dumped Gasol. They're moving on anyway. It would seem like they would probably want to move on from this contract if you can get him for on the cheap. And actually, I don't know how the Knicks even make the math work. The Knicks don't have a lot of big contracts left.
No, thank goodness for once.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how they'd even make this trade work.
All right.
Anyway, so I'm not sure So would you do it, Jay? You have no other option. You don't have Kyrie. Would you do it in the sense of you have Durant? You got to get this team better fast.
I guess because I just looked, that second year is not guaranteed if he plays less than 55 games.
Oh wow, that's a pretty good clause, actually.
Yeah.
What did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that the Knicks are breaking records and banning fans.
I hope one day they'll ban us. If James Dolan could ban us, that would be wonderful.
Hopefully we'll be wearing our Knicks podcast shirts when we get banned.
That would be how awful would it be if you got banned and none of the reports would mention that, or you had your Knicks podcast shirt on and they blacked it out basically for the broadcast.
Or it's the one time Dolan kicks somebody out and not one person remembers to catch it on film.
Or everyone's like, look for the New York Knicks podcast at New York Knicks podcast. Oh no, that was Brick of Sanity. I was going to make fun of the Twitter handle. Never mind. I made a bad. I screwed up the joke.
All right. Anyway, we'll be back next week, and we'll take a look back at our predictions from preseason and
I think we're
how they
gonna try to do. Yeah, we'll try to do a little more cross the league stuff, and we will talk more about the, I guess, March Madness. Talk about players that we're excited to see.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you're still with us, God bless you.
Yes.
Bye,
My love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good.